Welcome to The Real Factor. My name's Thor.
And I'm Ed.
And today we're going to discuss 1989's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, starring Harrison Ford and Sean Connery.
Directed by Steven Spielberg. I know. The great Spielberg. So this is the third one in the Indiana Jones original trilogy. I think that's how a lot of people will refer to it.
Yes.
This is generally considered one of the best, if not the best, Indiana Jones. It's kind of usually a toss between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade. They vie for the number one spot, depending on how you feel. But, this movie's been out for a long, long time, so this is going to be spoiler heavy. But if you haven't seen it, why haven't you?
Exactly.
It's on Disney Plus now. Just
pause the film, go see it, come back.
And then come back. But Indiana Jones is his dad gets captured, and he's on a quest now to try to find his dad and to find the cup of Christ.
Yep.
That his dad has been searching for his whole life. It's
Yep.
kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, that's a quick one. But, I was surprised. Like with Temple of Doom, they had an awesome intro where he's going into the cave and everything like that. But this one, they tried to have that excitement from like 1912 when he was a Boy Scout or whatever, and he was on a little adventure. But it didn't have the same oomph to me as like Temple of Doom.
Well,
That's to me.
yeah, this one, and I think it kind of really just kind of set up the fact that very effectively by River Phoenix, which unfortunately he has passed away, and so no telling what kind of great actor he would have turned into. But I think it's a lot of that was just kind of showing him as a young kid already have that sense of adventure, and the fact that he has an appreciation for artifacts that he always talks about. This piece should be in a museum, which is what Indy has always kind of not really been the fortune and glory. It's kind of his arc from Temple of Doom, but that's kind of carried all over into his adulthood.
Yeah, and you see where he gets his iconic look from.
Correct.
It's from the guy he steals
Right.
from.
I know. I wonder if the other guy came back and just said, "Hey, dude,
I want some royalties for this."
what happened here?"
He didn't mimic his dad. He mimicked the robber.
Right. Exactly. And you get his little tease about his fear of snakes.
Yep.
How he got, Harrison Ford got his scar on his chin.
Yep.
So there's a lot of those little kind of tidbits that I think were effectively done to kind of, give a little bit of backstory.
I wonder how many, when he was practiced his first time with the bullwhip there with the lion.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times people who practice the bullwhip actually hit themselves.
I'm sure a lot of people do.
Now, the best scene with the bullwhip, actually, this movie came out that was the first Batman. Batman Returns with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, 92.
Catwoman. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we won't talk about that.
Maybe another time.
Yes, definitely. But anyway.
But then you had the call back from the guy that he was stealing it, that he finally got he was able to meet that guy on the boat, and that whole kind of prologue kind of finished up with him eventually getting that medallion or cross or whatever it was.
Yep, the cross.
Yeah. But the thing that I really, when you get down to this, the core of this movie is really the relationship between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford as father and son, which they're not that far apart in age, which is the funny thing, but just Sean Connery just looks so much older.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that their dynamic and just the whole father-son angle really just kind of took this to another level.
Yeah, but, I'm a big Sean Connery fan, so to me, it was like putting him in the backseat. I understand this is Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, but it's like Sean Connery, in my opinion, should have had a more, I would say, masculine role in it. Because you had him from James Bond, then he was a Highlander, and all this other stuff. Well, he wasn't a Highlander. He was
fresh off his Oscar-winning role in The Untouchables, where he kicked ass.
Yeah. So you've got all this stuff, and all of a sudden now he's kind of a timid, research. I understand that's the range of an actor. Acting, yes. But still, it's like he should have been more into the stunts, into the action versus, squirted him with my ink pen, and that made him drop his gun or whatever. And, Dan Helmet Elliott, the pen is mightier than the sword. It's like, That's big cheese, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think that it was just the difference between the two people. I think, and honestly, and I understand what you're saying. You're looking at past roles and such, but I just think that Jones Sr. was more of the kind of like Marcus Brody. That was his type. He was the more academic person versus the more adventurer than the Indy.
And of course, his dad, all of his dad's research for 40 years led to actually finding there was like one missing piece, but his dad had all the information to find that missing piece.
Right. So the
little combination of both.
Yes, and the action in this movie was really good. And what I loved is that it's done with practical effects.
Yes.
And that is actually people out there doing stunt work and not just a bunch of CGI effects. And I know this day we're trying not to get people harmed, but that's why we have stunt people, and they want to work. Let them work.
Let them work. Yeah, let them get hurt. And the actors are fine. But
but it was really one big. You talked about Temple of Doom and how that was, really just a lot of just one big action piece after another. It was almost like a big roller coaster ride as far as that movie was concerned. And this one, I think, really kind of helped carry that on. It was not the constant, as Temple of Doom was.
Right.
You couldn't really breathe in Temple of Doom. It was just so much going on. But this one gave you a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of exposition, and then you had another big action set piece, which I thought was great. I mean, my highlights is the really the tank chase at the end, but you got the boat chase.
Yeah. The one boat chase is fine, and they get chopped up in the propeller. The boat does, not the people. But on the next part where they're going to have what would look like a boat chase potentially, Sean Connery Indiana Jones releases the one boat into the river, right?
Yes.
And then they go and hide and they get on the motorcycle. But as soon as the other people get on the boat, they take off on the motorcycle. It's like, why didn't you wait until they were at least out in the river?
Because then you wouldn't have the chase.
Well, you could have. You could have had it where they got ahead and they said, okay, we're far enough ahead, and all of a sudden, boom, here comes the Nazis. And I don't know what Spielberg's or even George Lucas is involved in this, what their fascination with Nazis is at this time. But it's like multiple times, and
because everybody hates the Nazis. I mean, everybody. Don't matter who
the Nazis
you are.
don't hate the Nazis,
but the Nazis are gone.
Are they? I hope so.
We hope.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like today. I was talking this to somebody the other day. We're talking, it's hard to have a villain. Like even these, like Top Gun. You had the blanket, villain from across the world. You had no idea. So everybody's PC. We can't talk about the Russians or Yugoslavia or making a villain out of the Saudis. We have to have the generic villain. And so the only one that everybody will agree upon
is the
Nazis.
Yeah, that's true. Well, from the 80s, and this is where it's from, Germans were bad, the Nazis, maybe Russians bad because we're in the Cold War. And now a lot of it is all just generic. There's some country they make up, Wakanda. Right. I'm just kidding.
Yugoslavia.
No, I was trying to think of Coming to America. He's got his own money. Anyway. Anyway. So, and I found it was fascinating. You learned where Indiana Jones got his name.
Yes.
From the dog.
The dog.
I love that dog.
Which was George Lucas's dog's name.
Trivia. I love it. Were there any Star Wars references in this one?
Not like the Obi-Wan. No, none that I ever picked up on.
Okay, because it was in Temple.
It was in Temple.
It was in the next one, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
That was the first one.
No, Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom had the club Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Yeah. But I don't really think you had anything with this one.
I was trying to look for it. So if you've seen it, comment, because they put little Easter eggs in there all over the place.
Oh, I know. What did you think about Alison Doody as the Elsa?
Yeah, she was great. No, she played a good, I want to say double agent. It's like she did care for Indiana Jones, that she was straight for the mission for the German people and who she worked for.
Yeah.
And obviously she seduced, the father as well, but she preferred Indy.
Do you think that?
But I think she did great as the doctor, and then even at the end, showing the power of the cup the Holy Grail had, where she was about to fall in this chasm, and she's like, I can almost reach it. It's just you could see like her whole personality going from a serious person wanting to save her life to I can. And then even Indiana Jones did that. But what were your thoughts about her?
Well, I guess my only thing with her, I liked the character. I thought it was really good. I would have preferred, her character to be almost like the Marion Ravenwood type character, where she was actually on his team the whole way through.
Okay.
I guess I just get a little bit tired of the same trope of, the double crossing partner, because.
Yeah.
You had that again in the Crystal Skull. Mm-hmm. You had it to some degree in his latest movie, Dial of Destiny. And I'm like, can we just kind of get over it?
Well, I think Hollywood, and I can only speak because I don't know anybody there, but it's like whatever works, they just want to repeat it instead of coming up with something fresh and new.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know. But you talked about how then Indy tried to go for it. And I thought this was a good turning point for his character and what kind of drives him, because he's always been the one that kind of driven, obviously he was there to try to save his dad, which he did, but then he's always there for the artifact. But it was really and his dad has always been kind of the voice in the back of his head about, look, let's make reasonable decisions, let's do things that make sense, because whenever he's talking to him, he's like, look, you are the most important thing in my life. I'm trying to save you. Let go of this. I know that's been a passion of my whole life, but you are more important to me.
Well, if you think about it, what was his goal? His goal was to find the Holy Grail, right?
Yeah.
They found it. Taking possession's another thing. I mean, that's semantics,
Right.
I guess. But I got a question about the Holy Grail. It gives you eternal life, right? Everlasting life?
Only if you stayed in that same area.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
That's my question.
The cup power only, once you cross the seal, the cup's power becomes,
Okay.
non-existent. So that was the whole thing. You could have it, but you had to stay there. And
Yeah,
that's
no
where
thanks.
that night was like, it was my honor to stay here. And, which is always thinking, back then that they take the most powerful people and give them the littlest job to do.
I was amazed that when they found him, the guy could actually talk, for one, because if you're 700 years and you've had nobody to talk to for 700 years, would you lose your ability to form actual words? Because I'm thinking of Tom Hanks with the volleyball. You're still talking to inanimate objects. But he spoke English.
They always speak English.
I guess he was from England. He was one of the knights. I get
No,
it.
it doesn't matter in movies.
I get it.
They always speak English.
Yeah, I guess.
Even the aliens. The aliens always speak English.
Yeah. But no, I thought that was kind of funny because I put way too much into it. I'm like, you wouldn't be able to talk after 700 years. You wouldn't be able to form words.
I mean, they did show that he had lost his strength to not pick up that sword.
So what happened to him afterwards?
He just continues on staying there, even though they wrecked his place and left it. I mean,
And now he doesn't even have the cup anymore.
It's just like when the in-laws come to visit. They tear up your house, then they leave.
Okay, did Elsa give? Was it Donovan? Oh my gosh, what was his name?
Yes.
Did she purposely give him the wrong cup?
Yes.
That was at first the first time I watched it, I didn't think she did. But then when I watch it and really think about it, I'm like,
because it's
she
right
knew-
after she gave
said,
it,
"Oh,
he
it
did
wouldn't
it.
be gold."
Correct. It would be a carpenter's cup.
it was gold on the inside though, because whenever Indy starts taking it, you can see it all shine.
Yeah, gold plated.
Gold plated. Yeah.
It's
only 10 karat gold. It's okay.
So no, and that's what, and I guess that was my issue with her is like, obviously her allegiance was to finding the Grail, and she basically kind of connected herself to people. She was an opportunist, so she was like, the Nazis are willing to pay for all this. I'm going to go with them because they're going to help me along. But like the Nazis' campaign was not hers. But my thing was like, well, after she got it, what would she do with, where would her allegiance be? She's obviously now captive and part of the Nazi party, so in that sense, she still kind of sold her soul to go partner with these people. I don't know. That was my thing. Is I don't know what she was trying to eventually gain from getting the Grail.
Okay.
And that was my one little bit as far as her character that I don't know. And obviously she died, and they never really had to develop it. But
did she die? It's Hollywood. She fell down there and landed on something. She'll be back.
She fell to China. What you talking about? Well, I guess there it'd be more like.
But no, I thought a funny part of the movie is whenever he got his dad's book back, his journal, and then he's there with all the Nazis, and here comes the guy Adolf Hitler coming through, and he's like, "Uh-oh." Right. And Adolf looks at him and says, "Give me your book. Give me a pen." He signs the book.
Well, and I think that's
like, come on.
It's funny, but also probably a commentary on the fact of just how Adolf was so into himself that he couldn't realize that the person that he was most after in the world was right there in front of him.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if we're really in the weeds now. I don't think Adolf Hitler was in this movie, obviously, was after Indiana Jones. He was after the Holy Grail, but he may not have even known what Indiana Jones looked like.
Well, I mean, you just had the
he had a country to run. This was before World War II, so he was building up his.
And you just had the phrase that the Nazi Party has waged war on the Jones Boys.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a line, but still, I feel like he had an idea of what was going on. Maybe, who knows?
Got a TikTok and saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny. It's so how you put yourself in today's standards and an era with cell phones. Whenever Indiana Jones found the crypt and they had the shield on there, and he's like, "I got a copy." I'm like, "Just take a picture of it." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm an idiot. It's all right."
So overall, I still like this one second compared to Raiders. Raiders are still, to me, a perfect film. This is perfect just to a slightly lesser degree. But you put these, like I said, really these are quite equal films to me. But if I had to make a decision, Raiders would be the first one. What are your feelings on that?
I agree 100% with you. And it is difficult to create a sequel, or yet alone a trilogy, or a fourth movie, or a fifth movie coming out to keep the audience, keep the story fresh, to keep it going. So it was good that they went back and showed this is how Indy got his start. He was concerned about the artifact as a Boy Scout, which, never mind. Boy Scouts came to America in, I think, 1912. So he was a brand new. Baden Powell brought it over here.
Been a wilderness ranger.
Maybe that was it. I guess they didn't say Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
but it looked like he had a life merit badge. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, a badge. But anyway.
But, and honestly, the Nazis were brought back in response to Temple of Doom, because Temple of Doom had a lot of, it was a commercial success, but it was still not viewed critically well. I think it has, I know we've discussed that before, I think it fares better in today's world than probably what it did back then, and that one was helped bring on the PG-13 rating. But they brought back the Nazis and brought back another religious relic to kind of recreate the magic of Raiders. Yeah. And I really do think they successfully did that.
They did.
I'm glad that, and I'm glad they didn't kind of want to keep doing that for the next ones, because I'm like, you did it twice already. Let's find other things. But I do feel like this movie, they probably should have just stopped with this one. It ended perfectly with Indy and his dad, Sala running out, riding off into the sunset. It was a magnificent ending in a great setting, climatic excitement and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad the father and the son reconnected. One funny part though was when the son was like, "I've been trying to talk to you for years, blah blah blah, and you were just so busy, whatever." And he's like, "I'm fine, I'm here. What do you want to talk about?" I can't think of anything. He's like, "Then what are you complaining about? I'm here."
Sounds like today's father-sons.
Yeah, really. Well, and then at the end, like you said, it ended perfectly. They could have ended the whole series here, and it would have been fine. They reconnected. Indy learned a lesson. The dad learned a lesson. Hey, my son is more important than this relic. Indy learned that lesson from his dad, but then his dad still called him Junior, which he hated. And it's like, well, that's my prerogative. I'm your father. I'll do that to you.
Henry Jones Jr.
That's why I'm glad I'm not a junior. If you're a junior, great on you. But
Have fun.
what are your thoughts on this? That's what we want to know.
Yes, send in your comments down below. I still give it kind of a 9.5 out of 10 if I was to rank it or whatever we rank any days, but it would be high on that score.
I give it a 9.
Yeah.
Why? Because I just want to argue with him.
That's right. Exactly. Why not? But what are your thoughts on it? Put your comments down below. Please like and subscribe to The Real Factor, and then we'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.